Good evening, everybody. See if I can get this thing bumping. There we go. Praise Jesus. Praise the Lord. Oh, man. Hello, Debbie. How are you doing? um, I was thinking about I just got a notification from this guy that I watch once in a while. I mean, he's really good. He does like hoaxes and all that kind of stuff, like deep dives into hoaxes, right? And he's really good at it. And I don't think he's a Christian guy, right? So, I always just take it for like what the facts are that he's presenting, and not really so much for the opinion. But he just came out with a big podcast today, and he usually does it like on his own site. That he has his own website, and so it was a free one, like over an hour, and I didn't get a chance to catch it because there's been a lot going on, in my life with my kids and all that stuff, and um, and then all of us, right? We all have our stuff too, and I haven't been able to really even get to everybody, which is the hardest thing, right? Because I'm used to like I can keep you guys like on priority for a while, and then it's like, man, I want to be able to get with you guys like, more than every couple of days or something, and so um yeah, and so he came out with this podcast. I'm interested in it, right? Because, and I wish I had seen it before this show, because that would have been so awesome, because of all the possibilities, right? Of history itself, right? Think about this. History itself just being a hoax in general. Like, that everything that we're taught, we know that everything they taught us in theoretical science and creation science is lies. We know that most of the things they say happened in the news are hoaxes. We know that um I mean, even up to like, assassinations and celebrities dying and all this stuff, right? Like, most of it is not true. I would say all of it. This is what's crazy, right? Is that what's crazy is that, what if none of it is real? Like, how like when we're, and look, this is some speculation, right? This is some, you know, talk that I wouldn't normally like, get into that much, right? But just like thinking of like just how crazy it could be, right? Like, what if the Bible is like written completely with the future and everything all in it, and we're still in like Genesis somewhere? Like, like we haven't reached, we always put ourselves in the end, right? But like, and then there's preterists, right? That they put themselves at the very end, right? Like, that it's all, yeah. Oh, yeah. But here's the thing, right? Like, I've even questioned whether or not I'm like, Mom, do you have any pictures of me in the hospital? like I want to see that I was born, right? With you guys, like you guys didn't just pick me up somewhere or whatever. And, you know, it always baffled me, right? Because there's people that are preterists. They believe that the Bible, the second coming, everything, it's all over, right? I'm like, wow, okay, so it's over. Like, to them, it's over. But nobody ever says, "Oh yeah, we're just before the flood," or something like that, or like, puts themselves that close to, you know, or whatever, But history itself, right? It just seems like so many lies, right? It's just we're told all this stuff. And then when okay, you know how like there's these pictures or video where you're looking at the video and then hey, how you doing, official facts checker? And hey, homeless in America, what's up, Jake? And so like you know how like there's these videos or pictures where you're looking at it and you don't really know what you're looking at, but then when they say what you're looking at, you're like, oh yeah, yeah, I see it. There's like a bunny over there or something, you know, or whatever. And I remember someone did that to me with the Kennedy assassination, you know, and they said, yeah, when the wig falls off the mannequin, she goes and gets it and puts it back on. And that's what I saw. Like immediately, I'm like, oh wow, like wow, man, and even that's fake too, you know? Like, I mean, because these are moments that are like they tug on your heart, you know. I remember little John with the salute and all that. I mean, I wasn't old enough, right, for any of that, right? I was born in the 70s, but those are moments that you in history that are just like, you know, sealed in, right? And it's just I don't know why they would just play games like that with I mean things that involve like you know people dying or whatever or people getting hurt and then using that to like steer us, influence us, like manipulate us, right? It's like that's crazy, man. It's just well yeah, like I just don't understand why they manipulate us so much, you know? I mean, I guess I do. I mean, these well, okay, so I was watching this one documentary about the I don't know if you guys know about the Vanderbilts or whatever. They're like we're an extremely rich family. They owned the East Indian Trading Company, like the biggest company in the world back then. And but like every story about these people was just like so not believable. You know what I mean? Like oh yeah, he bought a boat and then next thing you know he was the best boat guy in all the whole harbor and then he was a millionaire and we're talking way back in the day. To be a millionaire was like being a trillionaire, you know? And it's like, well, where did these people come from, man? Like this is wild, man. Like it is so wild. You're like, at what point did a group of people make a deal with the devil, you know? And just the amount of greed, you know? They they want to own everything. And not only that, but they want you to be sick too and weak. And I mean, I couldn't do that to another person, you know? I couldn't intentionally make somebody sick. And I think that that's where the, you know, I mean, that's where it gets really crazy, right? And so it looks like Michael's got good news. What's up, Michael? What happened? Oh yeah, yeah. Plant those seeds, man. That's the whole thing, right? Planting small seeds, man. I was telling Michael about that. Like there's sometimes where I want to make I know, can you believe that, Josh, man? Like but like on a mass scale, right? Like poison in the water, spraying that stuff, you know, out of the airplane in the you know, in the sky, ingredients in food that we're not supposed to eat. I mean, even food that is like, you know, generally what it is, right? Like a burger or whatever, you know, like there's stuff in there it's not good for us, man. And just that alone is irresponsible, let alone like actual ingredients that are harmful to us, you know. And then that's not even to mention, like, what they give us, for our ailments, right? And you're like, wow, man, like it could get really wild, man. At some point, you're like, wow, like you think that everybody in the world is like you inside, and that there's no way anyone could ever hurt someone else intentionally. You're like, no, no way, man. That's horrible, man. How could they live with themselves, But they don't think like that. And it's not just a small fraction of people. It's most people don't care if you are having a good day or not, you know? And but we think that everyone's like us, but we're overwhelmed, like we're we're overwhelmed by so many. Like it's like 99% to 1%. Um Says, I'm not judging, I just share what happened with me. I used to make pacts with God before I was saved, but I would never keep them. I couldn't. Now, since I've been saved, I want to do something. I don't make a pact with the Lord, but instead I ask Him to help me in whatever it is I'm wanting to do. For example, I want to read daily. I know my flesh is weak. Instead of making a pact, I pray for help. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like instead of saying like, okay, well, I want to read the whole Bible, once a month or whatever. Yeah, that way you're not putting it out there, like setting yourself up to not do it or to lose like your faith a little bit. I mean, I guess that's all we can do is just really like do our best. But I mean, but it's weird because like I've tried to put it on myself before like that, right? Where you don't really make pacts. You're just like, okay, well, I just want to do my best. But then there's times where like I've done things that like there's no way I could have done it. Like wow, like there's no way that no matter how hard I tried, I could never have done that. Like way beyond what I could even do. And so it's tough because it's hard for me. Sometimes I go in and out, right, of like thinking in a fleshly way, right? But really like okay, I want to read my Bible this much or whatever, but thinking, okay, well, I'll be tired or can I really do it? But then like if I'm thinking in spirit, it's sometimes it's easy, right? I don't know. I don't know. Interesting though. Thank you for bringing that up. That's I guess I'm kind of like that too, like what you're saying. Yeah, it kind of has like that negative sound to it on Pact, huh? And yeah, it's just I mean like I don't know, like at this point, right? Now that we know what the world is, right? Or we're finding out, being disappointed by like just how many lies and how much deceit and greed and all this stuff is out there. Like now I'm starting to believe like these like like okay, so like when you hear these like phrases like evil evil in their hearts continuously, like now I'm starting to really understand what that is. Like because like evil doesn't necessarily mean violent, right? Like uh evil is just things that are not good, right? Like and so there are people out there that all the time think evil stuff, even though they may not really be looking like they're doing a lot. It's just evil continuously, right? Lust and then greed and then envy, or and you might not even really notice that that's what's happening. And like usually most of us are like worried about our own walk. And there's so many judgmental people out there, but it like makes it look bad for us, because then people think we're those people. And you're like, no, man, like that's not good either. That's like swinging the pendulum too far the other way. Like I almost like I mean, I think God says it best when he's like separate. Like it's not about being on one side or the other out there. It's about just separating from it altogether. And it's too big to fix now, right? And I think that that's the hardest thing, right? Is to like tell a human being, right? Like, okay, look, we lost the world. Like, it's forget it. Like, there is no fight that we're gonna win, right? Like, we got to do what God says, separate, and try to spread the good news to everybody that we gotta, you know, we got a new place to go to, a new heaven and a new earth will be here, and before that, God will be here shortly to stop all this pain. Yeah, separating from our flesh too. That's right, Deb. I mean, there's so many different ways to look at that. Yeah, but that's the first way, right? Because I always like look at things like I used to think that you know, I used to think that okay, so the devil's my enemy, but really, if I resist the devil, he'll flee from me. So really, it's uh, my flesh is my enemy. Before that, right? Before the devil's my enemy, my flesh is my enemy. And if we can get that under, I don't know, because like a lot of things like that I think are good things to do, I'm doing in my own power, right? Instead of waiting on God to move me. And while I think it's like, oh, okay, well, that is a good idea and I should do it, I gotta wait for God. Like it's gotta be, sometimes you could do good things and create damage. You do what you think is good and it ends up not working out. You're like, oh, that seemed like a good thing to do. Oh yeah. Hey, Michael, at this point I'm just disgusted with myself, man. I don't like I can't believe that I was ever like I mean, I don't know, man. If you think about me as a young man and me now, like it's like I can't believe that I mean, I feel gross everywhere I go. Not because I'm not made in a good way or whatever, or or that I'm not grateful to be what I am. But the flesh itself is just nasty, man. It's not, yeah. It is, man. It's just I feel like it's contrary to what I want to do, right? I want to serve God the best way that I can, and it prevents me from doing that. It's either tired or hurting or hungry or it's always wanting something. And you're like, man, how did I ever like party and think that I don't know, man. I don't know. It just life isn't the same as it was before. I don't think I could ever go back to that. Even if I want, like, even if I backslid, right? Could I go back to just being a human that found like any kind of like pleasure in partying and all that stuff? I don't think so. I mean, could I see myself backsliding and like trying to numb out or something like that? Maybe. But I think that like now it's like the fire to try to like spread a good image of God, a true image of God instead of like what's out there in the mainstream. It's just even people that like think of God in a positive way have a bad image of God. Like it's like not true, you know? And you're like, oh man, like why do they associate that with God, right? Like if more people read their Bibles, they would know what's going on, right? Like there's some like religions or churches, right? You're like, wow, if you read your Bible at all, you would know that none of that stuff is good. Like, how do they get away with it for so long? Like, doing things opposite of like what they're supposed to do. And you're like, what? Like, what is going on? Nobody notices it. Billions of people go, and nobody notices. You're not supposed to call anybody father or Right. So Debbie, you get it, right? Like, no, you're not supposed to have idols, not supposed to have any uh graven images of things in heaven, not supposed to call anybody your father. But they do all that stuff, right? And you're like, well, how do they get away with doing it? You know, people keep coming, people keep their, you know, the place is full every Sunday, and you wonder, like, just what kind of control do they have over people? And I wonder, right? Like, I wonder, because like, you know how like when you watch, okay, so I mean, even when we stopped watching TV a few years ago or whatever, I don't know how long you guys it's been for you guys. It's been about 5 or 6 years since the last time I watched TV regularly, but it's you know, the graphics weren't even as good back then, but now it's like all these spinning graphics and flashing lights, like like there is a such thing called hypnotism, and it is real, and that's how you do it, you know, watching all this spinning stuff and flashing graphics and different camera angles, right? And Mark says, I control the righteous and the evil. That's interesting. No graven images. Yeah. In fact, the verse says in earth. Oh yeah, we're in here. Right. We're in the earth. And so yeah, I mean that's a good way that's a good way to say it, because that's how they describe it. And it makes it like it makes sense, right? Why would we be on a flying speck, you know? Like why would we ever think that in the first, if no one ever told us that, we would never think that. And if I did believe that, would I ever get in a hot air balloon? Would I ever leave the earth? Like like if I thought the earth was gonna fly out from under me? I can't believe what we believed is obviously not true, right? Like I'm gonna go up in a hot air balloon as high as they go, and what's holding me to the earth, man? Like like the air, like, you know. Oh, it's gravity. Well, I don't trust gravity like that, man. Like whatever, you know. Says our TV broke a few months after Jesus saved us. We didn't buy a new one. Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Well, because I mean, it became like, okay, it used to be your dad was the loudest voice in the house, everyone's dad or whatever. And then when the TV came, right? Now the TV is the loudest voice in the house, and it's on all the time. And, you know, it's like everybody has that same voice in their house, and it just reassures itself. It's like that, it's like, that TV, you know, raises the kids now. And see, like when we were kids, right? I'm in my mid 40s, right? So when I was a kid, there was all these, you know, like Beavis and Butthead and what's the other one? Ren and Stimpy, all these gross cartoons, and you know, these things were on TV, and they were like push the edge of disgusting, you know. And so it probably even worse then, right? Than cartoons are now. They really pushed it, you know. And there was a lot of networks that were just for kids at that time, you know, like Nickelodeon and that kind of stuff, right? Disney, obviously. And like we were being molded, man. Like we were being degraded. And I think that like when you see something animated on TV, you think that, oh, that's for kids, right? It's almost like an automatic response, but it's not. I mean, like we're talking like real examples of magic, right? Like religious magic. That you know what I mean? Like, I mean, stuff that you can open up an encyclopedia and learn about tomorrow, and it's accurate. I mean, that's crazy, man. You know, because it opens the door of those things to people that, like, I would never have experienced any of that if it wasn't for cartoons or whatever. Shamanistic magic. I never would have ever learned about that if it wasn't for cartoons, right? And so like, but you don't see any cartoons that, like there's no Christianity on TV, right? There's no, that option isn't there. There's every other option except that. And it seems like that every option except for Jesus isn't like some kind of version of the devil, you know? It's always like some kind of dragon or some kind of beast or some kind of snake or some kind of, and it's like infested the world, right? I mean, even you go to the hospital, right? You see the doctor's got that pin on, with the snakes, you know? I mean, it's like, come on, man. Like, that's scary, man. That's scary. Yeah, no, now there's the fake Christianity. I think they always had the fake Christianity, but now it's even worse. So now this is so I'm at the point now where I'm like, well, I think that like it's possible that it's like 90% of the churches out there are infiltrated, It's almost like there is no real Christianity. Like just read the Bible and believe what it says and count on God's understanding. I don't think that even it only exists in people that do it on their own, I guess, with us, right? I mean, I'm not saying that everybody that goes to church is bad or anything like that. I don't believe that. I think they're good because where else are you going to go? But I think that I think there's very few people that read their Bible every day and love it. I don't know, you know. I can't really make a judgment on that, because I don't want to like be so against church that I'm also like not considering the good things that they're doing there too. Because I mean, like if you had to ask me a few years ago, like I was like, wow, like now that I love God like this much, right? Um, where do I go? You figure you go to church, that's where we go when we love God, right? But not everybody holding the Bible is not only is not everyone holding the Bible your friend, but most of them are trying to hurt you on purpose. Oh, 4 years with no television, that's great. That's great. See, I think there was a big awakening that like that long ago. Cause I really like 2017, that's when um well, I got it. Flat Earth was big like in 2015, but like I got into it like maybe a year and a half, 2 years later. So like once okay, the Flat Earth was important to me because once I realized the Earth was flat, where I wasn't believing somebody else, I knew it for myself. In my head, something clicked. Like, oh, this is absolutely for real. There is no doubt anymore. Like I know God is real now. And once that clicked, I mean, my faith just it skyrocketed. I mean, I would say I was a Christian before that, but nothing like these last like 5 or 6 years have been. I mean, I can't remember a time where I was happy 2 days in a row. And now I've been happy for like over 5 years, straight, every day. Excited like I just won the lottery. Like just waiting on God to come back to get us. It's like a fact that it's gonna happen, right? As opposed to like, a hope or a strong belief. It's like a knowing, like, oh, I can't wait till he gets here. And yeah, the greatest gifts, Debbie says, the greatest gifts from God are the things most people would whine about. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Being poor. Okay. So, yeah, that's a very good point, Deb. Like, even if somebody came up to me right now and said, I'll give you $1 billion, right? No strings attached. You could still have all your beliefs, right? You're not selling your soul, but you can just have a free $1 billion. I don't think I want it. I don't want it. You know what I mean? Like, uh, it's, I don't know what happened to me, right? I definitely wouldn't sell my soul, that's for sure, not for any amount of money. But I don't even want the money without the selling of the soul. I don't even want it for free. Like, just keep that. I can't wait to get out of here. I love nothing about this world. Not being like trying to be negative or trying to say that there's nothing to enjoy out there or that I don't love all the people in my life. I do, man, I do. And in fact, the only thing that I even worry about or grieve about is, the pain of other people, right? I want everyone to feel happy and to know that, and, to know God and to be able to come with us, right? But like, you know, it's, I could be happy every day I mean, if I just worried about myself, but that's not how we're made, right? We're like the way we are is like we're very empathetic people, we feel other people's pain, right? Like I absorb people's pain, and there are a lot of people that when they're like when they're in a conversation with you, they don't feel your pain and their pain, you know what I mean? They just feel themselves, right? And do what makes them feel happy. But like when we're talking to each other, I like if I say something that hurts your feelings, I know it, and I cringe too, you know. But there's people that don't have that as part of them. It's not, maybe it's not their fault or whatever. They don't feel for you, like only because they can't. And so it seems like they're being intentionally messed up to you. You're like, man, why are you so harsh, man? But they don't even know they're doing it. They probably think you're crazy. And so until I realized that, right, I used to think that like my family would they were hurting my feelings on purpose. They like I was considerate of their feelings, but they weren't considerate of mine at all, right? I'm like, man, why are you guys like this? They're like, what are we doing to you? We didn't do anything to you. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, it's very confusing, right? Because it feels intentional. And then like you start to realize that there's very few empathetic people, and it's just that we run into each other, right? And then when we're talking to other people, they do think we're crazy. That is their impression of us. Like, why are you worried about everyone all the time? Like, what? You're not worried about other people? I'm just trying to like be caring to other people, you know? I used to think of the bad things I went through differently than I do presently. Oh yeah, right. Like experiences that we've learned from and stuff like that. Even though it may have been bad for us, like we learned something out of it or got some kind of some kind of skill later that that we needed. Oh yeah, Joseph. Yeah, what a great story though. So every time I'm like, "Oh, love me like Joseph," we forget that first part, the hard part, right? You know, I used to pray about that. Love me like Joseph, God, and then forget about all the hard part. Just focus on the good part and all the blessings, right? But it is what it is, right? I think that, I mean, overall, for what I've put into life, right, I've gotten far more out of it. Even though, like, I've never had a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I never had a lot of anything, but I've never had to suffer either, you know? And I always feel like I've gotten way more out of life than I put in, you know? And so I don't know, just like everywhere I went, it's always I seem to make like just the right enough amount of decisions, right, to make it through. And I guess I just live on my spirit just being the way it is, I guess, you know. I mean, I always cared about people, you know. I'm not good at anything, but I never not cared about anybody, like, or been malicious to anybody, you know what I mean? I can't even imagine how to be that way. I mean, there's people that can't wait to rob you and can't wait to like trick you into something, or it's like they're proud of that or something. I don't know. Like even if I was good at that over and over and over again and they told me that it was okay to do it, I would still feel bad about it, you know? And so like I know that for a lot of my working career, like I was a I was a salesman mostly, and I was pretty good at it, but I would still feel like, wow, I talked people into doing things that they didn't want to do. Hey, what's going on, Faith? How you doing? Oh yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, so I'm working on the wrenches or whatever on you and Alex or something. I'm trying to figure that out. So if it's there or not there, I don't know. I don't know if it's there or not there. I can't see it, but um, I'm trying to figure it out why you can't see each other. So there's Ann. How you doing? Yeah. So I don't know. I'm working on it. I can't see who's got what. I probably should just reset them all at some point and make everybody gray again or whatever the color is. Yeah, man. I'm just so happy. Oh, and I finally got your email, right? Oh, there's Hannah. Yay. And I finally got your email. I know what happened now is I flipped over my I flipped over my email to my other email, and I stopped getting my messages from the other one. And then when I flipped it back over, because I have two accounts, I have the Good Servant 1 and 2 channels, right? And I flipped the emails back and forth, but now I got it. Yeah. I got it with all the with all the smileys in there. So that was great. Thank you. I needed that. I needed that. And so, man, I'm just so grateful, man. I mean, look how everything is like. It's like I can't screw this up, you know? Like, meaning I don't want to anyway. But like, even when things don't go the way I think that they should, or I feel like it's going off the rails in a way, right? It always ends up being better than it was before, and maybe I just need to, like my idea of something bad that's happening might turn out to be better later, I don't know. But it's almost like no matter what happens, it it a better thing happens. And I know that that's not me doing anything. Trust me on that. Because I could screw up a cup of coffee. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Uh, I could make a mess of things. Let's put it that way. And oh, who almost died? What happened? What happened? Did I miss something? Um, I forget who almost died. But like, so I'm excited to watch this documentary about the fake history, because I'm like, now I'm starting to wonder, like, is anything they ever told us like real? Is anything they ever told us real? And then at that point, then you're like, wow, man, like, how do you put the pieces, if it gets to the point where we can't trust any of the narrative at all, like, God has to come back. I mean, sin has had to have reached heaven by now, and like if we can't even we can't count on the news, we can't count on the food, the water, the education, any of that, right? If we can't count on just the fabric of anything, right? Um, Good thing we have the Bible, because if we didn't have that, we would have no truth. Nothing would be true. If we didn't have the Bible, nothing would be true. It would literally make us go insane, because there'd be nothing to lean on, right? You either have to be part of the world and the narrative that's out there, right? Or um you know you just go crazy, right? Not knowing what. I guess you'd have to just rely on family history at that point. How many generations can you go back? Because to even question if, like, is George Washington even a real person? Like, you know like, was there, if any of that, right? You're like, man, like, all of that could have been fake. I mean, Columbus was fake. There's no way. Like it's not like I could say, hey guys, let's go to France and discover it. Like, there's already people there, just like there was already people here. And you can't just come in and discover some place where there's already people living. That's crazy, man. I don't even. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I done messed up the wrenches now to where I don't know. I gotta redo. I gotta reset it all. I just don't want anyone's feelings to be hurt. You know, because I would give everybody one. I tried that at one point. Just everybody has a wrench, but then, like, there was some rogue wrenches out there that were just deleting everything, and I don't know. Like for me, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't listen to the shows after I'm done, and I don't read the I mean, I'll read the comments if people write a comment to me, but I mean, that's for you guys. And so, but people were complaining because they had conversations going with people, and people were deleting their comments or whatever. And so, she says, "Take mine." I don't know, man. I guess I don't know. I'll reset them because I want everyone to feel equal. And so I don't know. I don't know how to even do it. I wish they had like cool little like stickers or something to put. Like you could be recognized or something. You get a heart or something like that, and it'll stay by your name. That'd be cool. But it's just another thing to get involved with, right? The social media is crazy. I'm like trying to intentionally not check my phone when it beeps, so I don't get trained. I feel like a trained animal. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I want everyone to have a wrench, right? And I've tried that, right? And first thing that people would complain about is that if they want to block another person, that they couldn't block them unless I took the wrench away. And so they were trying to block each other. And then another thing was people were getting deleted comments, right? Like their whole conversation was being deleted, by other people or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to be, just so everyone can act responsible and put put links in there, not I don't know, man. What do I know? I'll probably try that at some point again, and but alrighty, guys, it is time to hit the old dusty trail. And I've been going over a lot, like on. I don't mind even making it an hour. I'm cool with that. Like on most shows, I'm cool with that. It's just that when it adds up, it adds up, and then it could be tiring. And then you don't get people that'll commit to being a guest because they don't want to commit to a 2 hour thing, you know? If you tell them 45 minutes, you know, boom, it's easy to get a guest, you know? But yeah, it is time to hit it. Yeah. Well, I say that, right? The dusty trail, right? Uh, to remind myself to kick the dust from my feet, right? Because I fall in love with people's potential, right? And then I want to change them into a Christian, and you know, like it's some kind of sales job or something, you know. And I just keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. I got to remember when to quit, you know. And so that's how that started. But it is what it is, right? I had to learn a lot of those things the hard way. Had to learn a lot of those things the hard way, but we're here now, so we made it. Alrighty, guys. Well, praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. All glory to God because he deserves it. Please pray for the children out there. Please pray for anyone being victimized. Pray for each other. It's important. And I will see you guys, Lord willing, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. All right. See you later.